Hey everyone, Dan here. Wanted to take a look at GEVO today. And before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps a lot. And that was one of my cheap little digital watches going off. So ignore that beep and let's get into it. So GEVO actually has a pretty interesting chart, and I'll sort of tell you why. There's a couple of things happening. One is a channel, and the other is some immediate, really good support zones for where it's at. So I had this big run up on Friday. This is the 5-minute chart, and this is a pretty big move. It has had a lot of these pretty big moves recently, and so hopefully it doesn't take the approach that it has. It's basically had a sad face at some point every single day, except for Friday, at least in the most recent past. And so what might be happening here, there's a lot of like consistent zones given these previous sad faces that, if it can establish above it and just sort of like get some space from those zones, they could, be turning into really, really excellent support if there is any sort of dips in GEVO's future that it needs some help not falling too far with. So we're up in this zone right now. This 987 is probably where it settled after hours, is what it looks like. So 945, if I were in this play, which I'm not currently, would be what I'd look at for my cut loss zone, because again, with all of this activity here and all of this, like there's a ton of battleground there, and same thing here. I'd be looking for that to be really strong support, and if it's not, then I'd worry that we're gonna sad face again, which would put us like all the way down into the low to mid 8s. But if it can continue to address these resistance zones and build support off of them, then I look for 1009 to be the next spot where it gets true support and then jumps to 1046. It's a lower price stock, so it'll have several points at each dollar mark probably. If we zoom out a bit to the 1 hour, I do want to take a look at a potential channel that could be forming. So basically, from this 1556, there was a down channel here that encompasses all of this activity. And what it did first was it broke through that channel, or broke out of that channel. And now, instead of going truly sideways, what it could actually be doing is starting an uptrend channel, which would be a great sign and would give GEVO essentially a path back to 1132. And remember how we play the gaps when a stock is sort of confirmed, sorry, not the gaps, the channels. When a stock is confirmed to be holding a channel, is we buy it when it's getting near the bottom of the channel. That's considered the dip. And then you can take profit as it gets toward the top of the channel, and sort of like rinse and repeat. So that's why channel plays are nice, because you can do this sort of like relatively quick get in, get out, by buying your dip, taking your profit, and then waiting for it to come back to dip again, buy that up, and ride it up to take your profit. So, sort of take a look at for yourself and make your decisions on exactly where those zones would make sense for you. But that's what I'm seeing in GEVO. And if we can get past this 1132, we can plot out some new prices. The most obvious thing, if it holds the channel to get there, would to just set price zones that continue to follow the channel, which, as you see, would get it up, to $14 level pretty comfortably sometime around the first week of April. So let's see what happens. But yeah, look for that really strong support if it dips back down there at 945. And also, like I had mentioned before, just as my cautionary tale for this one, it tends to make these sad faces. So you had a big run up that actually lasted the whole day, so that's good. But you'll want to be cautious that it doesn't spend the entire day on Monday coming back down and dropping below and out of the channel, especially if it drops below, this previous zone, because that's kind of what's happening with these here. So it has this essentially like slight downtrend that's sort of like enveloped by this overall uptrend represented by this channel here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, just put in the comments below and I'll clarify anything there. And you can check out my Twitter as well for sort of more frequent updates throughout the week. I'll put that handle in the description below, and I will see you all in the next video.